Welcome back for another helping of oysters, clams, and cousins, presented by Bolin Media. I am Ross Bolin, here with Barrett Dudley to discuss and review Season 4 of The Bear, Episodes 7 and 8. Barrett, how you doing, Chef?
I'm okay, Chef. Just wanted to start up top with a bit of quick banter. Can I just tell you a little bit about my weekend?
Why not?
So it turns out that I can watch movies. I can indeed watch movies.
You're capable?
I am capable of watching movies. It's just that a couple of things have to, there are a couple things that have to be in the mix for me to be able to watch movies.
Let me give some background to people who are just like, why is he saying this? Barrett has watched almost 0 movies this year.
Yeah, I've watched 1 movie this year.
In the year of our Lord 2025.
Yes. And it was on my phone on a plane.
Of which we are 6.5 months in.
That's right.
And it was on a plane?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah, so he's fallen completely off the movie-watching wagon.
Yeah. I'm just out on movies.
Or gotten on it. I'm always confused by the wagon, but regardless, continue.
So they just need to have one, most importantly, they need to have commercial breaks. And 2, I'd like to have like a loose idea of the plot and at least be somewhat familiar with what's going to happen in the film. And then 3, they need to start at approximately 5:30 or 6 p.m., no later than 7, so that I can take 4 hours to watch said movie.
With breaks.
Commercials, additional pauses.
Getting up and cooking.
And all of
okay, what'd you watch?
So, one of the channels on my YouTube TV is BBC America, which shows some great films.
Barrett famously scrolls the TV guide within YouTube TV.
I'm still basically a cable watcher. I'll go to the guide on YouTube TV.
Yeah.
And I'm scrolling like it's 1997, baby.
Hashtag Boomer Barrett.
Until I find something, whether it be like a marathon of The Office or a movie or, Colin Cowherd or SportsCenter or, Late Night with Jimmy Fallon, whatever it might be. And then I pop that on. Now I look at what home suggests for me. Obviously, it usually has what I want, but oftentimes it does. It's not just gonna like toss up. Oh, hey, the second half of Running Man is on again.
Right.
You watched the first half last time. Would you like to finish it up?
Right.
So I that's what happened. Running Man was on. I can't remember if it was on Patreon or here, about how I watched about the first half of Running Man, maybe the first 45 minutes, a month and a half ago or so.
I believe it was on Patreon.
Yeah, it might have been on Patreon. And we were talking about it because Glenn Powell is like out of nowhere. I did not know this was happening. And all of a sudden, like, they're just advertising the shit out of Glenn Powell's Running Man. At least they are if you're watching YouTube TV in the way that I am, which is basically like it's cable.
So if you're 50 or older.
So I finished up Running Man. I'm so excited for the Glenn Powell version of this movie. Like, this was ripe for a remake.
You said it did not age well from a visual standpoint.
From a visual standpoint, it did not age well, and I maintain that. Like, it is goofy looking. Like, there's one of the baddies is like it's basically like they put a bunch of LED lights on him. Like they put him in like a catcher's outfit, like catcher's gear. And like a goofy ass helmet, and then they just stuck little LED lights to all of it, and like that's the costume. I'm
looking at him now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You seeing that? You seeing what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not good.
No, late 80s, early 90s action films, I think for the most part, did not age super well. I'm also seeing a guy in like what appears to be a hockey. Like, I just Googled Running Man original bad guy, and I can see this LED guy. But then there's also somebody dressed like a hockey goalie, all red.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know.
The premise is basically, like, it's like a mix of Gladiator and Hunger Games, that type of stuff. It's like, we're tossing criminals into the most popular show in America, which is called The Running Man, and they have to run, and then our gladiators are going to hunt them down and kill them, and everybody's going to cheer for it because we're bloodthirsty and we love it. We love it.
Sure.
And so the host of this television show is played in the 1987 version by Richard Dawson, who's he's he's the best slimy guy maybe ever. You can just see this dude like just hanging out at like the Playboy Mansion, just pinching
It's the sideburns,
pinching asses when he's not supposed to be. You know what I mean? Doesn't he look like that?
If I'm looking at the correct Richard Dawson.
Yeah. Anyway, Coleman Domingo has this part, and I'm really excited to see what he does with it because I got a lot of time for my guy Coleman. Anyway, Running Man, Glenn Powell. I'm excited for that because I finished up the movie. He might actually get to kiss the girl this time if they follow suit with the original.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So it won't be like Twisters.
And then Ross, I proceeded to watch the entirety with commercial breaks of The Fugitive after this. The Harrison Ford and Tommy Lee Jones movie, The Fugitive.
Wow.
They don't make them like that anymore, I'll tell you what.
It looks like it's probably on Netflix, so you could have easily watched it without commercials.
No, see, that's the thing, y'all. I couldn't have.
You need the breaks.
I need the little breaks.
You're pathetic.
I need the little breaks. And this is a free idea for the streamers out there. This is where I was going with this. Let me choose to watch a movie with commercials. And then when I do that, you take like every time I do that, you take like $1. You credit me $1.
It's not going to be $1, Barrett. It could be like 10 cents.
No.
You could just run 10 movies back to back and not pay, or 15, I guess, or whatever it costs.
Well, you know how it goes
point.
like, hey, are you still watching?
Yeah, but it takes a while to get to that. It doesn't do that mid 3-hour movie.
Okay, but
that's if you're binging a TV show and it's like rolling through episode after episode.
Netflix with ads is like half the price.
Yeah, I'm just saying, when you go to the negotiating table,
yeah,
don't start with $1. Or maybe you do start with $1.
I'm starting with $1.
Because they're going to start with 1 penny. And then maybe you can work your way to 10 cents off each time you watch a full movie with ads, is what you're saying, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You want to opt into ads only for feature-length films.
I want
because your pathetic TikTok brain cannot handle paying attention for more than 20 minutes at a time. That's what you're telling me.
No, it's because I get too invested. And so I need, I'm not... I need the opportunity to commercial break. Oh, I can go do this now. I can tend to this newborn child in my hands. I can do all these things. Now the thing is, as it turns out, after watching The Fugitive, I don't think I've ever sat down and watched The Fugitive all the way through. Very famous movie. Back in the day when you could have massive blockbuster hits that weren't franchise IP and they were huge. They featured movie stars, and then they went on and they got nominated for 17 Oscars. That doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, I remember watching this at some point. Specifically, I remember Harrison Ford in some type of sewage pipe
tunnel,
leaping out into a waterfall.
And what does he say?
I didn't kill my wife.
There it is.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't kill my wife.
But that's like a classic.
It is.
Action movie, yeah.
But yeah, so Max app, HBO Max. Let me watch Sinners with 20 commercial breaks.
Because that's the only way you'll get Barrett.
Because that's the only way I'm going to be able to watch it.
And he wants $1 off his monthly subscription for every film he watches this way. Okay, well then how'd you do with the episode 7 of The Bear that's an hour and 9 minutes long? How many sittings did it take to get through this? And again, important context, you do have a newborn, so you're having to, do dad stuff.
An hour and 9 minutes is fine. I could do a 90-minute movie. It's just I can't. We start pushing into, because here's the other problem. Like I said, I said my 3 things, right? I need a loose idea of the movie so that I'm not. Ross, I'm the type
that you don't have to pick up on it while it's on.
I'm the type of guy. I don't know if you or Lexi do this, but I'm rewinding. I'm hitting my 10-second back and my 15-second back. If I miss a line on something. If I'm watching The Gilded Age and I think I miss a line, I'm hitting that rewind button, baby.
Okay. We have subtitles on because my wife is an addict. And
so we don't have
to do that
so
often.
When I throw on a movie that I really want to see, like Sinners, I'm going to need to be locked in for that. Is the other thing that I'm saying here. That's the brilliance of cable movies, is that it's okay if I miss 30 seconds of The Fugitive.
Sure.
I'm not gonna miss 30 seconds of Sinners. I can't do that.
Well, you don't know. You haven't seen it yet.
So, And then the timing. The other thing is the timing. Like, well, I probably popped on episode 7 on Friday night, and I probably didn't put it on until 8 or 9 p.m. So I wouldn't have got so too late for a movie. But I made it all the way through 1 hour 9 minutes. I don't even think I paused once.
When did you watch this? When did you watch these episodes of The Bear?
Friday night and Sunday night.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got the wedding done Friday night.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good call. I didn't love watching this last night to close out the week, or to start the week.
Did you find it stressful?
Depending on how you want to look at it. First 30 minutes, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, wildly stressful. Hour and 9-minute episode titled Bears, written by Joanna Kalo, directed by Christopher Storer. It's the wedding episode. I got to know how you felt about this up top, no lead bearing. You were commenting last week on how nobody loves to show two people having a conversation with close-up facial shots, pause, more than The Bear. And that was like 85% of this episode.
Yes. So we famously on last week on our 2 episodes, I think I came in hot and was
3.
I was like, They better acknowledge the phone call, and they better tell us what was going on with Francie and Shug and Natalie. They got to address those 2 things. They better do it. And then they didn't do either of those things, and I was totally fine with it. So I
felt the same way. I mean, well, they kind of did the Francie and Nat thing, sort of. It just there wasn't really a concrete reason,
right? They did not give us like the
for
real
their fallout
backstory of. Yeah, probably because there wasn't really one to also. It's like one of those, and we'll get into that. But like, these types of beefs where it's like they've been going on for so long and they've spun into something that doesn't really even have like an origin anymore.
Right. It's like what happens with war.
Yeah. So I liked this episode. I guess I would say that I was slightly underwhelmed by it, just because going in it was a big episode 7. Which they've hit pretty hard in previous seasons. It did have this really long run time, and so I had pretty high expectations, and I thought it was a pretty just kind of level episode. And I'll just go ahead and say that I loved Green. I loved episode 8. Probably my favorite episode, my favorite episode of this season. One of my favorite episodes of The Bear. We'll get into why, obviously. But I thought together, these 2 episodes were a nice one, too. The wedding episode I felt good about, but not like I didn't...
It didn't rock your...
It didn't rock my
world,
socks.
Blow your socks off.
I didn't necessarily think it was rave-worthy. I get it. They wanted... This one was about family, Ross.
It's the family.
It's the family. Family comes first. Yeah, I don't know. What'd you think?
Like I said, first 30 minutes were truly miserable in terms of stress, just anxiety, yelling, Suge and Francie yelling at each other. Those scenes were tough. Richie having a panic attack, Carm having to talk to his mom, Sydney then getting stuck talking to Carm's mom, Richie talking to Frank. Just hell. Then the back half, things kind of paid off, albeit a little cheesily.
Yeah.
Is this a wedding reception? Is that what this was?
Yeah.
What? Okay. So are they already married at this party? That part, I expected this episode to be like...
You thought we were going to see the ceremony?
I thought we were going to see a ceremony, or at least shots of a ceremony. But like Frank's not even in a tux or a,
Right.
I don't even think he has a tie on. She's not in a wedding dress. I was just confused by what we were actually witnessing here a little bit.
This was the reception, I would say.
So after...
I don't know if there was a ceremony beforehand or if they did the ceremony 2 months ago or what. I'm not sure.
Just did a courthouse wedding, something like
that.
But
this was the reception. This was at Frank's house.
With dancing
and Frank and Tiff's house.
This was their house?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, yeah, you're right, because they're walking around looking at, okay. So that was a little confusing to me. I was just like, where's the wedding? What?
Yeah.
And
I don't know if Tiffany was wearing a wedding dress because their camera angle never goes wide enough to see what she's wearing.
Dude, now that you've pointed it out, like there were parts where, like, there's one scene where Tiff is laying in bed with
Sarah Paulson's character.
Sarah Paulson's character,
Yes.
Michelle Berzato.
Yeah.
And I was like, they can't get the camera any closer.
No.
Like, I can count the individual pores on her face.
And then in Green, they do the same thing with Suge and her husband.
Yeah.
They're in bed, and it's like
you can't even see their whole head. Like
you
you
can't
said,
see their whole face.
The tops of their heads are chopped off.
And so are the sides.
It's like when my mom takes pictures on my iPhone. No top of my head.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did end up enjoying it. About 30 minutes in, I was like, Jesus Christ, this is just the most. It's back to the same thing we've kind of been talking about week after week, where it's like a cliche at this point. It's like a characterization of itself. Like, it's so bare.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so bare, dude. And this episode in particular, because you've got like 10 different cameos.
Yeah.
It just was a little overwhelming. I'll have more to say about that from like a personal perspective at the end of today's podcast.
Okay.
But I did end up liking the episode when it was all said and done. One of the moments I was complaining about, or when I started to get, negative thoughts in my head about the show, immediately after that was Carm and Uncle Lee, Bob Odenkirk's character, talking, and I was like, well, goddamn it, that was fantastic.
Great
so
scene.
it's like every time it starts to lose me a little, there's something really, really good that brings me back in.
Yeah.
So on the whole, I did enjoy it. I agree with you, considering what I expected with an hour and 9-minute episode of The Bear that's centered on the wedding and has every fucking cast member ever in one place. I did sort of expect a little more fireworks. They went a different angle, though.
They did, yeah.
They give you this build-up at the beginning that makes you feel like all hell is going to break loose, right? They've got John Mulaney's character Stevie in there talking about like how these things are always a total shit show, but they're fun, we have fun.
Mulaney is awesome in this episode. He is so good at Stevie. He brings a foil to these situations that I really, really appreciate, because he is the outsider that is like, yeah, I'm just here to watch the shit show, and I can't stay away.
He's totally bought in.
I love it. He's bought in, but he
gets it though. Yeah,
he gets it. So he's a bear, but by marriage, not by blood. And
he's figured out how to handle it.
Yeah.
Like everybody else is like feels the crushing weight of life.
Yeah,
and he's like, I'm just kind of here for the show.
Yeah. But having him kind of bring that perspective, I think. Like, as soon as he shows up and is kind of like laughing a little bit and talking with Claire Bear, who is in a similar position, just less humorous about the whole thing.
Yeah.
I started feeling good about everything else that was going on.
Yeah, he did make me feel better. John Mulaney's character.
He lightens the feeling a little bit.
Stevie.
And I wish I've kind of off and on been watching his Netflix kind of version of a Late Show.
I've seen clips of it,
and he's great at that. But I also just love seeing him in stuff like this. I'd love to see him do more acting.
So one of the issues I had is I couldn't remember who all these freaking people were. Like Stevie is Michelle Berzato's partner.
Right.
That's Sarah Paulson's character. Didn't remember that. Had to go to the Google machine to figure out all the connections. Right. Episode starts with Richie having a panic attack and or breakdown outside the venue, so I guess outside of their house.
Uh-huh.
It's Richie's ex-wife, Tiff's wedding. He's out there talking to Sid, and it's just like a 10-minute long bonding scene for those two characters, basically. And you get 5 days off work for a heart attack, it turns out. That line shook me. When he's like, finally asks about her dad. He's like, God, that's real shit. I'm being such a baby over here. And she's like, well, he has 5 days off work, so that's good, although he's not that happy about it. And I was like, 5 days? 5 days for a heart attack, man? God damn it. There's a scene where the Facts are trying to sell Pete part of a painting that I could have done without.
I liked it. I liked this one.
It was fine. Rewatching it, though, I was like, okay, you guys didn't. There's multiple things they could have shaved out to make this a little shorter. That one, I thought it was going to connect to something longer term.
Do you know why? This scene worked because of when they pan over to Mulaney, who explains it in like in a less dumbass way.
Why would you get to take a painting home with you when you only own part of it?
I like that he's almost like egging these two, numbskulls on. Like he's he's sitting like just above the fray, but enjoying all of it.
So are the Facts buying partial paintings? The Facts have that kind of money?
No,
What even is going on here?
This is like a thing. This is a real thing.
Yeah, it reminded me of the movie Tenet because there's a whole.
You can invest in art in like a group buy, like
that you'll
and
never
like,
see, touch. Well, I guess
correct.
you can go
It's
see it.
just an asset. So you and 1,000 other people can buy a Picasso if you want,
Right.
But then it just sits in a vault or in a museum somewhere, and you just own a piece of the asset
Until someone in Tenet steals it.
Correct. Yeah.
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 Okay. Yeah. Let's just go through the fucking cameos. Josh Hartnett is Frank. The character's fine.
Yeah.
He's just like nice guy.
Uh-huh.
There just isn't a whole hell of a lot of depth. In this case, he's worried about being a stepdad.
Yeah.
Right? And I guess the pressure that comes with that. He has some good interactions with cousin Richie.
Mm-hmm.
I liked their scenes.
Yep.
Them kind of coming together. They still have their individual issues. Richie's got his self-consciousness around being replaced, phased out. Frank has his self-consciousness about his ability to be a good stepfather. But they kind of bond over the shared nervousness, right? That's a huge part of the message of this episode. That you go into these situations like a big wedding or any big family event, and you've got a lot of nerves. You're really anxious, and you think it's just you. Oh, I'm the only one who's dealing with this, when in fact, it is everyone.
Yeah.
And everyone has their own ways of dealing with it. And so it's a cool moment for Richie when he realizes Frank is just as nervous and scared as he is, right? And then it all culminates with the under the table scene that we'll get to. Brie Larson is Francie Fack. How'd you feel about that?
Good. This was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis shows up as Donna Berzato. Fortunately, not for too long. I can't really tell what they're trying to do with her at this point. Everything we've seen from her in these flashback episodes is that she's basically a fucking monster. I mean, she runs a car into her own house.
Right.
She's a drunken mess of a alcoholic with borderline personality disorder. But now it seems like she's starting to get better. She's having full-fledged conversations with people she doesn't even know that well. Sydney and her have this long talk, and she seems genuinely warm and caring. And
I would go back to that story that we listened to at the beginning of one of Carmi's Al-Anon meetings. I feel like that is permeating a little bit throughout the season. It's like, can people change, right? Or are they at their core? Is there always something broken about them? If that's the type of person they are,
right?
And so I think that we're seeing Dee Dee.
And why is she called that?
Donna something Berzato. I don't know
her middle name.
Maybe, yeah.
I'll look it up.
I think we're seeing some level of growth from her potentially, but but you also have the sense that there's always like she's like a split second away from snapping, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, I can
She's
tell,
on edge.
Yeah, and I can tell by the way you're talking about her that you have a similar reaction to her, even like being on screen as my wife Laura, who like cannot stand her.
Like, oh God, here we go.
Yeah, like she just appears on the screen, and I can tell that Laura gets super uncomfortable, and that is very intentional. That's what she does to people is she just has that edge to her.
Yeah, they even give you that shot of her outside smoking a cig.
Yep.
It's like a loading phase. Like you're like, oh, here, fuck.
And then the little terse hello with is it Michelle? Did we decide it was Michelle? Sarah Paulson's character?
Yeah, Michelle Berzato. When she first walks in.
Yeah, which is obviously there's a lot that they're not saying there.
Lots of tension.
And so she is the type of person that puts other people on edge.
Because you don't know what she's going to do, man.
Because you don't know what she's going to do. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, is she doing good?
And so she's obviously able to hold it all together throughout this wedding, but I just, that she's a tough person to have around and to deal with. I think no matter what, no matter how good she seems.
Now, one of the things this episode did really, really, really well that I don't think this show had accomplished prior is show the parallels between Donna Berzato and Carm. They're pretty much the exact same person. minus maybe the alcoholism or whatever, some differences. But like when they're trying to have that conversation, which was just, again, a nightmare to get through for me. They're mirroring each other so well. And it's like the show has done a really, really good job. One of the big focuses seems to be like familial history and family trauma. And I mean, you can see the direct line from Carm's mom to him throughout that conversation, which I thought was pretty brilliantly done. But all in all, it seems like we're probably going to get a Donna-heavy episode next week, or at least it'll be a chunk of it, is my assumption, based on the way episode 8 ends.
Maybe, yeah.
But I was glad not to get too much of her. She's been a very domineering force in the other episodes that have had her featured.
Yep.
And that was not so much the case here, which was kind of a little bit of subverting my expectations, if you will. So we also have Bob Odenkirk as Uncle Lee Dane. Now, I mentioned, great, like 10-minute long scene with Carm and him, and he tells Carm that him and Mikey got close when Carm went away, and basically gives Carm the reassurance that your brother really loved you. He was super proud of you. He cared about you a lot. He talked about you all the time. He told me all these very personal, detailed stories about your life. Yep. Having just watched about 30 hours of Better Call Saul, I was completely incapable of disconnecting Bob Odenkirk from Saul. So that was kind of funny, but yeah, look, this is one of those scenes where I was like, yeah, this is what this show does really fucking well. It's just so real. It feels like you're watching two very real people have a very real conversation about very real life shit. And so I loved that. Love Bob Odenkirk. We'll watch him in pretty much anything at this point. Sarah Paulson is Michelle Berzatto. I wanted to go into today's show and say she was like underutilized, but then I was doing a rewatch before our pod so I could make my rundown, and I forgot. She doesn't just have that first scene with Donna. She also has that scene with Tiff.
Yep.
And so she kind of got enough to do. But that scene with her and Tiff is another one where I was like, what did that accomplish?
Sure.
Just showing us all of these people in this family have personal connections and personal relationships. It's very layered.
I think specifically that one was developing the Tiff relationship with the Berzattos and why it's so important to her, because her own situation with her mom is fucked.
Right.
And so this is her family.
You're right.
Basically.
And you have that other scene where she's talking to Uncle Jimmy.
Yeah.
About how she was scared she would lose the Berzattos, and he's like, sorry, you're one of us forever.
Yep.
Can't get out of this clan or whatever. That was cool. And it was also, like you said, this episode being about family. It was like, you also have the conversation with Sid and Donna where she basically says, I feel like people at work are your family. That it kind of blends. They're just as important, potentially. I would note, I think that is often the vibe and feeling in a restaurant and in certain other particular industries where there is a massive amount of teamwork,
right? And
you are part of a team that is working very closely together. I do not think that is necessarily the case in like corporate America. Well,
I don't think they're saying that though.
I don't think they're saying that either. I'm just like, it was just something that popped into my head. I was you're kind of, it's one of the lucky things about a job like that.
Sure.
With all the chaos and all the shit that you have to put up with, but you do develop sort of like family with these people.
Yep.
Whereas at your cookie cutter cubicle job,
right,
not so much the case.
No.
It can be. I'm not saying it can't happen. It's just much more unlikely. John Berthal shows up as Mikey just for a brief flashback as Carmi is having some kind of existential crisis for the 15th time at some point in the episode. Okay, I want to get some clarity on Francine?
It is Francine Fack, but I think they call her Francie.
Francie fucking Fack. What? At one point, they're trying to give us some cloudy detail on their fallout.
Uh-huh.
And one of the facts, I think, says, like, they hooked up.
Yeah.
Like, sexually?
Yeah.
It seems like
they say something like, it's almost, what is this? It's like y'all are, but I don't think they say this. I'm paraphrasing. It's like, what are you, like, spurned lovers? Did y'all hook up? And they, like, pause and, like, miss a beat. and then I think it's what the
Ted.
husband's name. Ted's the one that's saying that. What's Natalie's husband's name? Pete. Pete's like, wait, what? You guys hooked up?
Yeah.
And they're both like,
Yeah.
furtive glances. Like, yeah,
I'm pretty
we did.
sure Francie says yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I just took that as like they were like
I couldn't get any context.
they did some experimentation in college type thing.
Yeah, but I was like, was this fucking like 6 months, a year, 2 years ago?
Pre-Fallout.
Was Suge married?
No.
Like,
no,
you know
no,
what
no.
I mean? Like, I was just like, more on that, please. And it's not just because Brie Larson was involved. So I think that was meant to be our takeaway, though. Like, they had some sort of romantic situation almost that blossomed out of their friendship. They got complicated, caused a lot of complicated feelings in their friendship, and eventually led to a longer-term falling out.
Okay.
Without any real concrete reason other than how
Yeah.
complicated it was.
Right,
That was
right.
sort of my takeaway.
Okay.
They eventually make up and are friends again, apparently, although they almost explode at the end of that makeup, and then they laugh at it. Their dynamic is so bare. The Berzados, man, very chaotic. Okay,
You love it.
let's get to the under the table scene. So little Eva, I don't know how to pronounce their last name. Jeremovich?
That's Richie's last name?
Yeah. She doesn't want to dance
Yeah.
with Frank. They're supposed to do a stepfather-daughter dance at some point here. She doesn't want to do it. It starts with a couple of people climbing under this table, and I started out thinking this is just a small table to hold a cake or something.
Yes.
By the end of it, you see this is the largest table that's ever been constructed. It fits 30 full-grown adults under it. And every single character ends up under this table.
That's right.
And at one point, I was like, what are the other wedding guests doing right? Like half of the guest list has now disappeared under this massive, massive table. What are the other people doing? Did this work for you on the whole before we get into any of the details?
Yeah. Yes, sure. How about that answer?
That's basically how I feel. Okay. All right. Fine. It was a little too cheesy.
It was very cheesy.
To fit into like, it's just confusing because the show will do some of, again, I hate using this word over and over, but I don't know a better one. Real, authentic moments with like Carm and Uncle whatever, Uncle Lee.
Yeah.
And then there's a moment, a 15-minute long scene under this table like this where I'm just like, well, I don't know about this. Like I don't know.
It pushed it pushed how much you have to suspend disbelief a little bit too far for me, I would say, is my gripe about it. And what I mean by that is like, okay, so we got Sydney there because Richie didn't have a date to the wedding, and so he brings Sydney as his plus one.
Right.
But then we got Marcus there because there's a connection between his roommate / boyfriend, maybe? Not sure.
And Frank's mom?
Chester and Frank, who had a falling out.
Clearly don't like each other.
Right. But his mom invited Chester, so Chester came and Chester brought Marcus. They just did a lot of work to get like more and more of the cast there. And so
Will Poulter is there as Luca for one reason or another.
Is he?
I think they show him at one point. I could be wrong.
Okay. But so so I'm fine with that at the wedding. It's like, okay, you need you need everybody at the wedding, and like that's the whole thing about the Berzados is that, and the Bears, like this is all kind of a tiny town. Everybody knows each other. There's some type of connection. Nobody knows who's a real cousin and who's a fake cousin. They're all just family, and they all end up at the same places together.
The lines of relation are very blurred.
And that's what it is. That's fine. But then to also jam them all in under the table, and we get all the facts under there. We get all the restaurant people under there. Meanwhile, this girl who is scared of dancing is just happy to sit under the table with 30 strangers.
Yeah, that part was a little tough to believe.
So I kind of wish we had pulled back a little bit from getting everybody under the table there. But I also understand that was the bit, right? Is that everybody is going to end up under the table. And so it was, that's why I say,
Sure.
all right, sure.
Fine. Fine. The overarching point was good, that everyone is afraid of something. Many of us all the time. Claire is afraid of bees. Richie is afraid of AI. That got a good laugh out of me. What does he say? He's like specifically the... oh my God, the word is slipping my mind. The singularity.
Yes,
specifically the singularity.
AI, specifically the singularity. Yeah.
Frank is afraid of heights. Neil Thack is afraid of big dogs. Carm is afraid of peace. That one really resonated with me. Sid is afraid of failure. Ted is afraid of enclosed spaces, which is obviously ironic because you're trapped under a table with 30 people. Ted's girlfriend, who he tells "I love you" to in this episode.
They get the girlfriend under there. They get
She's afraid of the gradual collapse of the planet. It kind of just did a lot to show you, like, this is why people are anxious. This is why people are a mess. There's a million different reasons to choose from, and if you can't come up with one that's specific to you, there's the gradual collapse of the planet, or AI and the singularity. You know what I mean? It was it's tough to be a human being. It's tough to wrestle with all these heavy concepts and deal with the anxiety that follows. So, in the end, I liked what happened under the table.
Right.
I agree with you. It was a little difficult to suspend disbelief to the point that it's like, and it works, and it pays off, and little Eva Jerimovich decides, to dance. I also kept thinking of that song, "I Hope You Dance." Remember that cheesy-ass country song?
You dance.
Yeah, that shit kept hitting in my head. Claire and Carm dance in the end.
Yeah.
Seems like there's some reconciliation going on there.
They've got a nice conversation happening. Yes, I liked their combo.
And
it's a good back and forth.
And this all closes out with cousin Richie. I thought it was an interesting choice. Final scene of the wedding episode, an hour and 9-minute long bear extravaganza. Cousin Richie goes home to his apartment, grabs a beer out of the fridge, and at first I was like, oh God, no, they're going to have given us all this warmth and happiness in the past half hour and then crush us with Richie's like lonely depression again.
Mm-hmm.
But he takes out his phone and he gets he sees the selfie that Ted Fack took.
Right.
And he laughs.
Yeah.
And it's like he's not alone. And he also has that moment with Uncle Jimmy where he goes back into that Japanese sand garden thing.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm glad you brought that up. That's important.
And he decides he's not a rock. He's not siloed off and alone. He's the sand.
He's the sand.
The connective tissue.
That's right.
And you can see why he feels that way about himself, for sure.
Yeah.
It's also just a much more positive way to look at any human being.
Totally. That was a nice moment.
It was. It was good. But it was a lot, dude.
Yeah.
It was just a lot. Like I was like, oh fuck, now we're spending 10 minutes with these two people. Fuck, now we're 10 minutes close up. I can see their pores. Everything is so personal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
and I think especially with the one other conversation, the one other, pulling these two people aside and watching them chat that I wanted to talk about was Sydney and Donna. Because I thought that was a really, one of the things I feel like this episode was sort of doing is kind of trying to emulate the feeling that you get at a wedding where you're talking to this person and then you're talking to this person and then you're talking to this person.
Okay, but never in my life have I been to a wedding where yes, but the conversations are usually significantly more shallow than what these people are getting into.
Yes, of course. But that feeling of where
it's like speed dating.
Yeah, and then you have to be like, I need to go to the bathroom.
Right.
So you can get 5 minutes by yourself.
Yeah.
So I think that's sort of what it was doing. Maybe the best version of that was Sydney humoring Donna, basically, and having that conversation with her and being that friend of a friend where you're suddenly you're stuck with somebody's parent and you make the most of it and you talk to them and you let them talk and you find some common ground. And
well, I think in this case it was a lot of what's been going on this season is things propelling Sydney in one direction or another.
Of course.
And in this case, the conversation with Donna felt like part of what happened. Not only did she walk away with this larger appreciation for her, work family, but also a better understanding of Carm. We've never seen these two interact before. She's never met this woman.
Right.
So having met her now, it's like, oh, okay, I can see why this dude who's essentially my partner at my profession is the way he is a little bit.
Yeah.
Have a better understanding of him. That's often the case with friends. You have good friends that you've never really talked to their parents all that intimately, And then suddenly you have a moment where you have one of those conversations, often at a thing like a wedding, and you're like, holy shit, okay.
Yep.
Now I understand Barrett a little better.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So no, I'm with you. And on the whole, the episode was solid. I was just very stressed. I was just very, very stressed. Let's move on. Summer is here. More sun, more light, more time to do all the things that make summer so special. And the number one thing you don't want to be doing all summer? Spending hours cooking inside. That's where today's sponsor, Factor, comes in. Factor's chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals are ready in just 2 minutes, taking the hassle out of eating well. Factor meals arrive fresh and ready to eat, perfect for any active lifestyle over summer and beyond. With 45 weekly menu options, you can pick gourmet meals that fit your summer gains and goals. Choose from options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, Keto, and more. Factor powers your day, sun up to sundown, with nutritious breakfasts, on-the-go lunches, premium dinners, and guilt-free snacks and desserts. Factor has your whole day covered. I've been eating Factor for years now, and I love it. If you're like me, there's some days where you get home from work or school or whatever, and you just want to be able to plop down on the couch and enjoy the next episode of your favorite TV show without having to worry about what's for dinner. Factor takes this dream and makes it a reality with the best meals delivered straight to your door. So many good options, so much good food, great smoothies and juices as well. Enjoy more this summer. Get Factor if you want all the flavor and none of the fuss. Get started at factormeals.com/OCC50off and use code OCC50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code OCC50OFF at factormeals.com/OCC50off for 50% off plus free shipping. Factormeals.com/OCC50off. So episode 8 is titled Green, 36 minutes, written by Joanna Kalo and Christopher Storer, directed by Christopher Storer. Starts off with Sydney having a dream, or a nightmare, as she continues to mull over whether to stick with the bear or go to Shapiro's new joint. This was a cool way to open the episode.
I loved this scene.
Thoroughly enjoyed this.
So good.
And you could, this was, a lot went into this. Like,
Yes.
they've got the rain that comes, the wind, all these people beating on the door, and then all coming in, emulating the chaos of what it feels like to work at the bear sometimes.
Yeah.
Just a classic anxiety dream, too. Just like anxiety dreams always start off semi-normal and then just derail into something like this. Really well done. Really cool scene.
And also, give me the A.O. Dibbery / Sydney
100%.
cooking show where she's just very pedantic. And,
Yeah.
and if you don't get the special edition coconut shavings from your local 5-star restaurant, your dish will be a total failure.
Yeah.
Like, it was just so good. It was really funny, really very visually well done. This was happening, and I was like, oh yeah, more of this, please.
Yeah, that was fantastic. It's still interesting to me that Sid's character has just so, and it's brought up in the wedding episode as well, she has so much fear around failure and sees herself as inadequate and doesn't really seem to believe in herself the way that I, as a viewer, think she should. Because I'm like, you're so talented, you're killing it, you're doing so great, keep going. And she's got a good relationship with her dad, who's very supportive and loving, and I'm failing to understand where that sort of self-doubt comes from with her, and maybe it's something we get to in season 5 since that's happening now. But yeah, she's really kicking her own ass in there and just bringing up failure over and over in this nightmare dream thing. As a result of this dream and everything that's happened in the past 7 episodes, she finally calls Shapiro. She walks out to this part of Chicago that I've actually been to a couple of times. I want to say there's like a museum or something over there near where she's standing. I could be wrong. Chicagoans, don't bite my head off if I am.
Is she near the Bean?
No, not near the Bean. But she's on Lake, whatever that lake, they got that lake.
Yeah.
That lake.
Like Michigan, right?
Maybe not. She calls Shapiro, tells him she can't take the gig. She's sorry. She's terrible at confrontation. This call could not go more poorly in terms of the way she handles herself. But she chooses the bear. So at the end of the day, out of the two of us, I just knew Sydney's heart better than you.
You did. You really did.
Yeah. You thought she was a goner, dude.
I did. I mean, yeah.
So how'd you feel about this decision?
I was glad that we got the decision,
That it finally came to fruition?
Yeah. I wish she would read the fucking DocuSign.
Yeah, because God knows what it says. And we brought up the call earlier. What the fuck did I'm assuming we're going to get what Shapiro said to Carm on that call at some point.
Maybe. Yeah. He either just didn't answer, and that was just like a red herring.
We see him answer, though.
Do we?
Yeah, he's like, hello? And then it, of course, doesn't show us any more than that.
Okay. Well, so maybe this is just more Carmy good guy growth, right? Where he just like he backed off. He let
her make her own
decision. He wasn't going to pressure her one way or the other. He wasn't going to fly off the handle.
Maybe Shapiro butt dialed him, and there was nobody on the other end of the line, and he
Maybe
just hung up after.
That is also possible.
Yeah. Shapiro doesn't take it super well.
No.
Understandably so. She's kind of strung him along here. I feel like one thing in her defense, he should have started to pick up on the lack of movement, positivity, enthusiasm, etc. Shapiro should have been able to see how much she was struggling with this.
Yeah.
And that there was a 50-50 coin flip here that she would probably stay at the Bear.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that his response on this phone call, I think just factors into the whole thing where this guy kind of had his head in his own ass a little bit.
He definitely did.
And so it's not, in that way, it's not surprising that he couldn't see that Sid was pretty on the fence about this. And
that it was eating her alive inside? Yeah. Now, I would think that after finally coming to terms with this decision and making the call, that she would be relieved, weight off her shoulders type shit.
Yeah.
Doesn't really seem to be the case. I guess she still needs confirmation that she's made the right choice. It is, Shapiro ends the call with her by saying, like, you don't have to apologize to me. Basically, you need to apologize to yourself because you just made the worst decision of your life. You have chosen to go down on a sinking ship.
Yes. Yeah.
With 18 hours left on the doomsday clock.
Yeah.
Rather than basically become a full partner at a brand new joint where you're making all the decisions and running the show.
And have unlimited pizza. Don't forget that.
I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think. Yeah. So this was classic. This happens on like the Bachelorette, mostly on the Bachelorette a lot, where like a guy doesn't get a rose and he's like, it's totally okay. I just want you to know that you're making the biggest mistake of your life. Like, I just wish that you weren't making such a terrible decision.
Your loss.
Yeah.
I was only here for the zip line.
So yeah, it's an asshole thing it's an asshole way to kind of frame it up.
Yeah, it is.
And shake it out. So, but yeah.
Like, we get it, dude. Your butt hurt.
Right. Yeah.
Everybody knows what this means when you end a conversation this way. Everybody knows. Yeah.
I think that it's not like it's self-flagellation, but it's definitely she is going down with the ship. That is the choice that she is making. This is her family. These are her people. She almost doesn't care what happens. What happens.
Can't abandon them.
She can't abandon them. And then, I think side dish on that is that this dude who's like, hey, we could have Afro-Caribbean. What do you think about that? Like, he's just...
You're black? Yeah. He's a little too...
She pops in and he's got like the Biggie on. She puts on Mozart.
Yeah.
He's just not getting it.
Yeah. He's assuming quite a bit.
Not Mozart. He thinks it's Mozart. It's Bach or Beethoven. I can't remember which.
Some other classical artist, Yeah, he's assuming too much, and assuming makes an ass out of you and me.
That's right. So I think she's just kind of willing to roll the dice with the Bear.
A bunch of subplots here. You got Suge and Pete in bed with the newborn Sophie. You got, which had to feel familiar to you.
It very much so, except for that this baby was very bald, and I wondered if they went in search of a bald baby.
Very chill as well.
Yeah,
doesn't make a noise. At one point, like they haven't shown the baby in frame because they're doing the extreme close-ups on both Suge and Pete.
Very close.
And I was like, is the baby even still there? It's so quiet. Probably wasn't still there, just to be clear. I don't think they needed the baby in that scene the entire time, just in terms of like Hollywood magic. So you got Sid at her dad's filling up his pills, making sure he's taking his meds, checking in on him. He's kind of annoyed, I'm doing fine. How about we talk about
nice
you?
Little flip, right? Like she's worrying about him, like.
Oh yeah,
right.
After being so upset that he has to worry about her.
Yeah.
Proving the point.
Yes.
That's sort of just what love is.
Right.
You got to worry about each other. He asks her how she's doing. She doesn't really know how to answer that. Again, this is after she's made the call. And I expected her to be like, well, Dad, I finally made a huge decision. I'm really proud of myself for closing this one door and staying in this chapter of my life. But no, nothing.
I had a mixed reaction to this because I wanted her to just give him something, man.
What are you thinking about? Tell him something. He's your fucking dad. He almost died like 3 days ago. Fuck.
Can you just like at least give give what you gave to Richie, right? It's like, there was a big decision, and I made it. I'll tell you more about it later. But no, just nothing, stone wall. And at the same time, I was like, okay, yeah, sometimes you just don't want to, for some reason you get inside yourself and you like don't want to share stuff with your parents. And I don't know why that is.
I don't know why it is either. But I'll tell you this. If there's anybody listening who's somehow like 13, 15 years old, and if you are, there's not that many of you, just answer your parents' questions.
Yeah, don't let that block build up.
Dude.
You're exactly
How was
right.
school today? Did anything fun happen?
It starts early where you just like put this cap on.
You don't want to share.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
Right.
This is my life.
Share.
Open your mouth and tell them something that happened at school today.
Open your heart.
For the love of God. Just want to know. What was your favorite part of your day? Nothing. I don't know. I can't remember. God damn it. Answer the fucking question.
Yeah, so it felt very real, but I did have that that just tell them something, one thing.
Yeah, it's probably one of my biggest regrets from teenage years. Like, just answer your parents' questions. Just tell them this. They're interested. They want to know.
Right.
Their own lives are stressful and filled with adult hell. You're a bolt of lightning, of light and joy for them. Give them something to live off of. Marcus and Luca in the pastry lab, cooking up just insane desserts. Flowers are involved somehow. I don't even know what's happening there. Marcus goes, I guess he gets a text from his dad, his estranged father.
Yep.
He's like, I'm going to be at this diner at 7 a.m. if you want to meet me there. Marcus goes all the way there, stares at him through the window. And it was another moment where I was like, just go inside.
Same.
Just go inside the diner.
Yeah,
Even if it's only for 5 fucking minutes. You walked all the way here just to turn around and leave.
Yeah.
Now, we don't have any context for their relationship either, really, I don't
No.
think.
No, but this on the heels of the Sydney thing and and with the Carm situation and his mom all having at the same time.
You're right.
I definitely think that they are kind of posing that question of like, and then the show maybe sort of answers it, at least from Luca and Marcus's perspective. But it's like, kind of what do you owe to your parents, if anything? And I certainly I had the same reaction that you did here. I really wish that Marcus had just gone in and,
Even if just for a little.
Yeah.
But he takes one look inside and decides to walk away.
Can't do it. He can't do it.
Pull himself in there. So Tina is still struggling with the Cavatelli speed. She can't shave an additional 30 seconds off.
Yeah.
Luca's like, well, did you do the compartmentalizing or whatever? She's like, yep. He's like, well, that's all you can do. I don't really know where they're going. Like, do you think there's going to be some big payoff moment where Tina's like, I did it? I don't feel like there is at this point. So I'm not sure. Is like the message that, your best is your best, or like what is Tina going to get shit canned because she can't hack it? Like, what is happening here?
No, I don't know. There might be a good payoff. There might be some type of payoff. This episode had a lot of good food scenes, by the way. That's one of the reasons why I liked it, is because it had our drama, it had our one-on-one conversations, it had all the stuff about growth and life and family and all that type of stuff, but was centered at the restaurant. And they didn't need service, but they were able to come back to the restaurant and do food stuff. Showing us food, having people working on food, having the computer talk about the food numbers, like everything was just, it felt good to be around the food again, around the restaurant.
Back in the nitty gritty of the restaurant, dude. Yeah. I'm with you. I enjoy I enjoyed this episode quite a bit. But the Tina storyline is an example of one where I'm like, does this need to stretch over the whole season?
Right.
Right. Like her battle against the clock.
But it hasn't been in every episode, far from it, right?
No, frequent, almost every episode, I want to say. I'm just picking nits. That's one where I'm like, all right, I get it as a storyline. I don't get it needing to take the entire season to get to its finishing point, whatever that may be.
I feel like it will. I mean, listening to you say that makes me think that we will get a finishing point on that. I think she will
pull it off.
Yeah.
Okay, or die trying. Richie and Sid stare at the clock together, the doomsday clock, under 18 hours, 17 hours and 39 minutes until failure, which just blew my mind considering Sid has just said goodbye to this other massive opportunity. Because I was thinking like, oh, they must have like a week left or a couple weeks left or something. But no, it's literally the last day where she's like, she should have just waited a day to call Shapiro. If they pull it off and the bear survives, call Shapiro. Sorry, buddy. If the bear dies, you have another job. You get to still get a paycheck. Like, goddamn. You got Neil and Teddy Fack blindfolding Sweeps with a necktie for him to continue getting better at wine. Neil Fack is trying to learn how to walk around the restaurant without having his hands float up like fucking...
Yeah.
What's his name? He just wants to go fast.
Ricky Bobby.
Yeah.
This was the right amount of fat for me.
Sure.
Yeah. And
Not too much
I
fact.
liked Richie's conversation where he pulls Neil aside.
That was good.
That felt authentic. Like, I liked giving a little more, like, it's okay for Neil to be this goofy kind of like stunted kid in a giant tattooed man body, right?
Yeah.
But also give him something that feels like he's also a real person, right?
Yes.
Like he is that big tattooed
Doofus.
He would probably feel like sometimes like he's out of his depth here.
Like, these are all the adults doing adult shit. In this case, he's talking about how everybody's so fancy.
This fancy restaurant, fancy people coming in here, like...
And he's just this scumbag 8-year-old in his mind.
Yeah. So I liked that. This was a nice little... It was the right amount of fact. It was classic, kind of like bear heartwarming type stuff. So that was a nice scene.
Richie gives his pre-service motivational speech, which includes 2 references to the opening 10 minutes of Gladiator, both Strength and Honor and At My Signal, Unleash Hell. Clearly watched Gladiator recently. Also just reminded me of Ralphie and The Sopranos, where Ralph is a character that is obsessed with Gladiator. Richie and Jess.
Not the first time that Richie has...
referenced Gladiator?
referenced Ridley Scott. I believe Ridley Scott is his favorite director.
Yeah, there was definitely a conversation about Ridley Scott at some point.
Yeah.
Richie and Jess. Now, they didn't exactly... this has been pretty telegraphed. The first time they were on screen together, I was like, aha! I can see it! and now it's becoming more and more apparent.
Yes.
Sharing personal, intimate details of his life, really, just with her. And
Some
then
light touching,
asking if it was too much. And she's like, no, honesty is sanity. And we need to see that. We need to see this come to fruition as well. There's just all these storylines where I'm like, I see where you're going. Do it. Do the thing.
So
quit teasing me.
Another note on this episode. Season 2, largely thought of as the best season of the pair, is the Carmi Claire season. Right?
Yeah.
It has the love.
Oh, that's a good point.
And so here we're getting a little bit of that, like that Richie Jess like bubbling relationship, and we're getting maybe the reconciliation of Carmi and Claire, who have another really nice, like heartwarming phone call where they learn to say things and communicate to each other. I think you're wonderful.
She can see his growth.
She can see
he's opening up. It's given her some reason to maybe believe in him again.
Yes. So I liked that. Just another thing that I'm just calling out. I think maybe this show hums a little bit higher, when it's got the some of these
romantic
relationships happening.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Can't all just be interpersonal friendships and family dynamics. Right. We need romantic love.
We need a little romantic love
in the mix. Got to get the recipe right. Computer visits Shug and is like, hey, basically says, you guys have done it. You turned it all around. Unfortunately, you're still not making a whole hell of a lot of money. They're in the green, though, right? Isn't that why it's called green? Or in the black? You get to the black.
Now, you
don't want to be in the red.
Right.
You want to be in the black.
Be in the black.
Why is the episode called green?
I don't actually know.
Huh. Tell us on social media, at Barrett Dudley, at WR Bolin. But yeah, this was a tough scene just because it's like there's all this positivity. Like they've cut staff, they've cut costs, they're pulling it off, but it's like too little too late, basically, is what it sounds like. But the question he poses is, why keep going? And I think what he's inferring is like, if you're not making money, what's the point? If you're just breaking even and you're all fighting like hell and killing yourselves in here and all you're able to do is really break even, there's no upward mobility for anybody. Nobody can afford to get a raise. You've had to cut all this staff. You're a bare bones operation, right? Why keep going? Obviously, Shug's answer is for family.
Yes, exactly.
Looks over at the wall, sees all the employees, like, I keep going for these people.
Yeah.
But computer's a computer. He doesn't have emotions like that.
And I think watching 7, 8 like this is it even this scene kind of is like, it makes you feel a little bit better about the under table scene. I think, because like
that's why we keep going.
That's why we keep going.
So we can get under a gigantic table to make a little girl feel better about dancing with her stepdad.
That's right.
Yeah. Carm knocks on his mom's door, bringing back a bunch of photo albums for her or something, roll credits, which leads me to believe that Donna will have a larger part in episode 9. Now, I could be completely wrong there. Okay, now, last thing for today.
Yeah.
What do you feel like is going to happen with the bear? You get this conversation with Computer and Suge.
Yep.
Where are you at?
Where I've always been, Ross. Expansion of the sandwich window.
He does mention it.
He
says the beef is still crushing.
Expansion of the sandwich window to allow the bear to keep going.
So you have a successful element here.
Yeah.
You take that, expand on it, franchise it, or whatever. What's the other word?
Expand.
Okay, expand. and then the profits from the beef sort of keep the bear running.
Right.
Okay.
Because that's the scalable piece of this, right?
Yeah.
That's the replicable one too, right? You can replicate this. You can you can make it happen in miniature. The little small operation, the bare bones one that basically all it requires is a robot Chucky in a window and a thing to make the beef, right?
Also, robot Chucky talks now.
I guess, yeah.
He's the AI. He's the singularity.
He's the singularity
that Richie fears.
So if you can build that out and scale that up and have that make more and more money, then maybe you can keep the passion project alive as well.
Yeah, I've never been more confident that this is all going to work out.
Yeah.
Because you can't just keep, like that scene with Computer and Suge, I'm like, okay, clearly something is going to happen. Like a combination of things is likely. They get a Michelin star, and they figure out how to franchise the beef or expand on the beef.
Right.
And those two things in conjunction make this all blow up and explode and work, and everyone's wildest dreams come true.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem like we're going to end a season on that high of a note.
Probably
right?
not.
Yeah.
But this show's arc cannot just be, and everyone loses in the end. And Sid made the wrong choice.
Right.
And Carm is probably going to go kill himself. And you know what I mean? Like, this has to all end in a win, or it's going to feel a little weird.
Yeah.
So 7 and 8 done. I'll say this about the bear at this point. You do not want your show to be something people dread watching.
Mm-hmm.
And the bear handles interpersonal relationships and family trauma and individual trauma like so accurately that it gets into the territory of uncomfortable, and it does this fairly often. I have said repeatedly that it is at its best in those moments, right? In those uncomfortable moments. Like, that's when I think the show is at its best. But it also, those moments are the ones that cause me to dread what's coming in the next episode. Like, it's a real double-edged sword. Watching Carm knock on Donna's door at the end of this episode, I was like, oh, thanks for leaving me with that.
Yeah.
So that's what I have.
That's a daunting idea.
Exactly, which is often the case with this show. And it just feels like that's part of where maybe they've lost some people. Mm-hmm. That it's like, it is kind of a beating. It's super well done, super well acted. It has a shit ton of celebrity cameos. It is inarguably fun at different points, but it is also inarguably heavy at a lot of different points. And these are all people who are dealing with a ton of personal shit.
Yeah.
Right? And so it can kind of wear on you. And especially this important note, like, if you're going through some shit, like, let's use the House of the Dragon pregnancy stuff as an example. When my wife was pregnant and I was having to watch House of the Dragon season 1, mm-hmm. It was too much. There was too much pregnancy and pregnancy gore and unfortunate shit happening with pregnancy, right? So, like, whatever's happening in your life, if you have stressful circumstances already, then something like The Bear is probably not super appetizing to you.
Yeah, this kind of comes back to something that I said in the first week or two of watching this show and kind of talking about the discourse online, which is that this show is like, for all intents and purposes, is like a hangout show. We're going back to hang out with our crew, with our friends at the Bear, with our ragtag, scrappy little team and our hot stodges and our crazy fat cousins, right? Like it's that's what it has to be, especially as you continue to lengthen and churn out season after season and keep it going. Like we have to want to come back and hang out with these people.
Right.
And I do think that, like, yes, the more stressful that it makes it and the more heavy moments and conversations and with Donna and whoever else, like, about like these really like heavy topics, and that feeling that it gives you of kind of cringing or not wanting to hang out with these people for a whole lot longer, works against it in a way, because you're not going to get people coming back and returning season after season, episode after episode, if that's the bulk of what you're serving up, right? So and again, just to make it about this episode, that's why I liked Green so much, is because I feel like we got a little bit of everything. We got
good mix.
We got a good mix. We got hard conversations with Computer and Natalie is the one that we just kind of talked about, but we also got nice moments between Richie and Jess, who are talking about heavy things, but in a moment where we can see their relationship kind of budding. We got
where it feels good,
right? And we've got feel good reconciliation with Claire and Carmi, like we mentioned, and we got cooking, and we got the restaurant, and we got a little bit of all of that, and we were at the restaurant, so it felt like we were hanging out with the crew, with our friends at the Bear, and that's the right formula. So it's a really hard balance.
It is, and it feels like they've tinkered with that balance a lot. Like season 3, I think they did too much facts, trying to use the facts to balance out the weightiness.
Yeah. Yep.
And this 2 episodes, 7 and 8, I feel like masterfully did both things I need.
Yeah.
It had the stress and the anxiety and the, oh my God, what is about to happen? This might be the worst wedding that's ever occurred. Somebody might literally get murdered. To like, oh, look, it all worked out. Subverted expectations a little bit, really warm moments, personal growth, love, family. So it paid out. It paid off. And I totally agree with you on episode 8. Like, great balance in Green. Mm-hmm. Great balance. And probably one of my favorite episodes of the season as well for that reason. So Barrett and I will close out coverage of The Bear Season 4 next week with discussion and review of episodes 9 and 10. I've been told repeatedly at this point that the finale does not need its own podcast episode, that we can do 9 and 10 together easily and be just fine. So next week, we will close out coverage of The Bear Season 4, episodes 9 and 10. Watch them with us. Later this week, we'll be taking hotline calls on patreon.com/oysters, clams, cockles to further discuss episodes 7 and 8 of The Bear Season 4, as well as anything else that the Mollusk Militia there on Patreon is looking to get into. We are still taking suggestions as far as what you guys would like us to cover on patreon.com/oysters, clams, cockles for potentially the remainder of 2025. As we may not have like an episodic, big tentpole show that we are doing ad-based public episodes on that is also worthy of hotline calls on Patreon. We're probably going to do something different on Patreon, like the leader in the clubhouse, just to be frank, is probably The Wire. That is getting a lot of steam, if you will, for us to cover, because it would be the same sort of formula as we had for The Sopranos, where Barrett has not seen it. I have seen it a few times, although it has been years since I've seen it. Also, my wife hasn't seen it. I would really like to watch it with her at some point. My wife. So I'm going to assume Laura hasn't seen it either.
She has not.
That would have been a shocking turn of events if Laura had seen The Wire and you hadn't. Patreon.com/oysters, clams, cockles to check out all of our hotline call episodes for The Bear Season 4, as well as everything else we've been discussing the last several weeks. We've gotten into a lot of different stuff on Patreon because The Bear, while good, does not warrant a whole hell of a lot of further conversation. So we've had a lot of time for other things on Patreon as well. Support our sponsors. Today we had Factor. See the link and description, or the link and details in the description of this episode. For more from me, check out the Ross Bolin podcast. If you are a Houston sports fan, check out Banging the Can. If you're an F1 fan, check out Formula Bone. Follow Mr. Barrett Dudley on Twitter and Instagram at Barrett Dudley, BarrettDudley, and I'm at WR Bolin on both of those platforms. Barrett, anything else you want to throw in here before we skedaddle?
Call us about whatever you want on the hotline.
Hit us up. Let us know.
And we'll see you later this week, and then next week for
Closing out the bear.
Closing out the bear.
Thanks for being here today. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We look forward to hearing everyone's reactions on Patreon and reading them on social media. Until next time, remember, everything in life is just for a while.